Hello, everyone. Good morning. Happy weekend. Happy Sunday. Sir, you are taking class on Sunday and you say that happy Sunday. Sir, कैसे होगा सर? तद्विरुद्ध sir. Is it? See, how you spend Sundays? If you ask me, sir, how you spend Sundays? It is not by sleeping. It's not by sleeping. You have to do something. You have to spend that day. Sunday, it's spend day. It's not Sunday. It is spend a day with joy, with a joy, with happiness, with some extra activities, and you have to spend that day in a good way. That is spend day, not Sunday. Spend day. It is okay. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಯ್ತು ಸರ್. Is it? ಏ ದೇವ ದೇವ ಗಣಪತಿ. I'll just check how many of you are online. I'm just waiting for the students to join in. Yes, Deepak ji, good morning. Disha, Abhilash, Sandhya, Sneha, everyone, good morning. Sandhya is asking, sir, coffee हुआ क्या? जी हुआ है. Sir, खाना हुआ क्या? जी हुआ है. What is that, Sandhya? This is idli? Is that idli? I think so. Not idli. In my case, it is pulao. Today it is pulao. Okay. So you don't find the emoji of pulao? Okay. That's fine. Okay. Yes, everyone, let's start. Chalo. In last class, we started with John Maynard Keynes' Keynesian theory about the national income. We studied about Keynesian theory. There are some basic concepts that we studied, sir. What we studied, sir? Aggregate demand. Aggregate demand is equal to consumption plus investment. Aggregate supply is equal to consumption plus savings. Now, what is the formula for consumption, sir? C is equal to F of Y, or C is equal to A plus B Y. Now the question is, sir, what is this B? B is equal to MPC. Sir, what is that MPC? MPC is nothing but marginal propensity to consume. It is marginal propensity to consume. Sir, what is this marginal propensity to consume? MPC क्या है, sir? If your income increases, then what portion of your expenses get increased? This is MPC. Now again, sir, what is MPC? If your income is nothing but what is the effect of increase in income on the increase in expenditure? On the increase in expenditure. This is marginal propensity to consume. Sir, how to calculate that? MPC is equal to or B is equal to delta C divided by delta Y. Change in consumption divided by change in income. That is marginal propensity to consume. Example, if marginal propensity to consume, if you got it as 0.72, if you got this as 0.72, then what is the meaning? Out of rupee 1 increase in your income, out of rupee 1 increase in your income, there is rupee 0.2 or 72 paisa increase in your expenditure. Understood? Out of rupee 1 increase in your income, there is rupee 0.72 increase in your expenditure. This is nothing but marginal propensity to consume. This is the meaning of marginal propensity to consume. Out of rupee 1 increase in your income, there is rupee 0.72 increase in your expenditure. Or I can say that you spend 0.72 of rupee 1. You spend 72 paisa of 1 rupee. So this is about marginal propensity to consume. Sir, what about other 28 paisa? What about other 28 paisa? That in a sense it is MPS, marginal propensity to save. Other 28 paisa you will save here. Yes, no? That is what we discussed. How to calculate MPS? MPS is equal to delta S divided by delta Y or 1 minus B. Or 1 minus B. जा रहा है दिमाग में? Yes, no? Yes, sir. So this is what we discussed in last class, and with that we discussed some diagrams also. Remember this diagram. What is this? This is A. This is A. What is A? Constant consumption. Sir, what is this? ये क्या है? So this is the gap. The gap between this is B into Y. What is this gap? This is A. Totally then, what is this? C is equal to A plus BY. Consumption is equal to A plus BY. Or I can say that consumption is equal to aggregate demand. Aggregate demand. Your consumption is nothing but aggregate demand, no? But you remember, this line is called as consumption line or aggregate demand line, where C plus IB होगा. C plus IB यही है. So this itself is C plus I. Why, sir? Because consumption plus investment, a small part of investment, that is also. I'm so sorry. Consumption is equal to A plus BY. Aggregate demand is equal to C plus I. Aggregate demand is equal to C plus I. Okay. Why? Because your aggregate demand is equal to consumption plus investment. Both are there, no? Your consumption plus investment, aggregate demand. Or I can say that, see, I will add one more line, that is I line. I, not I line, I. This is also one constant, no? If I start from here, I can say that this is aggregate demand. This is aggregate demand. If there is no I, then C itself is aggregate demand, no? If there is no investment, then C itself is aggregate demand. If I is there, extra I is there, then this will be aggregate demand. Why? Because I we have to add. This gap, what is this gap? This gap is always constant, that is I. The gap between C and AD is I, no? Sir, क्या बक रहे हो sir? If aggregate demand is equal to C plus I, okay, then aggregate demand minus I is equal to C. That means what? This is aggregate demand, which is C plus I minus I. That is equal to C hoga na, this one. I is always constant. We discussed in last class, I is constant. So this I will be constant. That means this gap is always same. This gap is equal to this I. Okay. So this is one point which we need to remember. So these are all the things that we discussed in last class, and at the same time, equilibrium. What is equilibrium, sir? Equilibrium is equal to where aggregate demand is equal to aggregate supply. What is aggregate demand, sir? C plus I is aggregate demand. Aggregate supply is C plus S. So C gets cancelled. I is equal to S. This is equilibrium. This will be considered as equilibrium. Wait. March no. Guys, March no. Some these kind of things happen. एक मिनट बच्चों. Once again. मार्च मंथ है ना बच्चों. आई एम सो सॉरी. I have to listen to my clients. They are important. At the same time, you are also important. Huh. You are also important to me. My client, nothing. He is my brother. I have to give prime importance. Okay. Huh. So this is yeah, equilibrium, which we discussed. Now we will see. Yeah, these are the things that we just revised now. All these things. If the leakage, now see this one parano, we have to understand very carefully, and at the same time this is very important point. Okay. Yes, listen. Here, if the leakages are greater than injections, you already know what is leakage and what is injection, correct? Now, in case if there is government, then the leakages, what is the meaning of leakage? Remember in this last class we discussed, from the two sector model, if there is leakage, that is tax which is paid, no, that is leakage. And injections, for example, government gives subsidy, that is injections. It will inject money into the economy with the help of subsidy, and there is leakage. What is leakage? That is tax, payment of tax. Then national income will fall. While if injections are greater than leakage, if the injections are greater than leakage, national income will rise. How, sir? How it will increase? Because see, if there is more tax, if I have to pay more tax, think, if I have to pay more tax, then the income which I have, no, that will reduce. If that reduces, demand will reduce. If demand reduces, aggregate demand reduces. Aggregate demand, consumption reduces. Aggregate demand reduces. If aggregate demand reduces, obviously output will reduce. No, output will also reduce. That means if there is more leakage, then national income will fall. If there is leakage, leakages are greater. Vice versa. The national income will be in equilibrium only when intended saving is equal to intended investment. If there is any deviation from equilibrium, in a sense, planned savings is not equal to planned investments. Planned saving is not equal to planned investment. The process of readjustment will bring the economy back to equilibrium. We have to do some readjustment. If there is something is more, if the investment is more than savings, if the savings is more than investment, in both the cases, we have to do some readjustment. We have to do some readjustment. Someone asked me the question that, sir, I is equal to S. If I is equal to S, you told that I is constant. Sir, you told that I is constant. No. Yes, but for short term. I told that I is constant, that I is constant for short term. Example, 1 year. In 1 year, saving should be equal to investment. That means it is equilibrium. In next year, it might change. Next year, it might change. I also changes, S also changes. In 1 year, whatever which is saved by the household, everything should be invested in the firm. In the firm. Household save, no? Whatever household saves, that same type of amount that should be invested in the firm by the firms. Then what happens, sir? The equal amount will be there in the each of the sector. Think that. Okay, listen. Totally now 1000 crores. Wait. Think that totally 1000 crores. 1000 crores were there with the firm and household. Example, I'll divide it. Household and firm. 500 crore, 500 crore. 500 crore and 500 crore. Now this has to move. This has to go in the east direction. This 500 goes to the firm and this 500 goes to the household. How the 500 goes? In the form of expenditure. How this 500 comes here? In the form of factor payment. In the form of factor payment. Now, whatever they receive, household they receive, no? If they save, for example, 50 crore, 50 crore. Now, after saving, here it will be 450 crore. But here is 500 crore. Match nahi ho raha hai, sir. Match nahi ho raha hai. That's why it is an presumption that 50 crore has to be saved by, invested by the firm. So that for this year, 50 crore is savings and 50 crore is investment. Now again 450, there is a balance. There is balance. This is equilibrium. One more time, sir. Now, these guys, no, they have 450 crore. Why? Because they have saved 50 crore. Whatever they received, no, that 50 crore, this household, they saved it. Now, they have only 450 crore rupees to demand. Listen, these household guys, no, they have only 450 crores to demand. But firm has 500 crore rupees, they will produce the goods worth rupees 500 crore. क्या होगा अब? Supply is more than demand, no? गोताखतिरिया, you are understanding this? Supply is more than demand होगा ना? Supply is more than demand. There is no equilibrium. Out of this 500 crore, they will produce so much, no? They will produce so much. Out of this 500 crore, they'll start producing 500 crore worth rupees goods. Yes. Yes. If they produce 500 crore rupees goods, but there is demand only for 450 crores. What is there? Now there is surplus. This will lead to surplus. No, sir, ulta. What has happened? Household, they did not save anything. They have 500 crores. Okay. They have 500 crores. Now this firm, firm, they did invest 50 crore. 500 minus 50 crore. So 450 crores. And this is 500 crores. They saved 50 crores and now they have 450 crores. Firms will produce goods worth rupees 450. But they are demanding for 500 crore. क्या हुआ है यहाँ? Shortage. Demand is more than aggregate demand is more than aggregate supply. In this situation, aggregate supply is more than aggregate demand. This will lead to shortage. Oh, sorry, surplus. This will lead to shortage. That's why investment should be equal to savings. Then there is equilibrium. I hope you are getting this. Artha ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ? Hayana, yes or no? Wow. Okay. Yes. Now, whenever there is disequilibrium, we have to do some readjustments. Whenever there is some disequilibrium, we have to do some readjustment, which is given here. When there is disequilibrium, if there is leakages are greater than injection, or injection is greater than leakages, we have to bring the economy back to equilibrium. So how to do that, sir? And equilibrium with unemployment or inflation. Equilibrium with unemployment or inflation. Listen, an important point to remember is that Keynesian equilibrium with the equality of planned aggregate expenditure and output need not take place at full employment. See, it is not required that it always happens at full employment. Full employment of all the resources. Equilibrium happens, sir? No. No. In reality, we are talking about reality. In reality, sir, we already discussed, correct? Listen. There is no reason to believe. Did we discuss this in last class? There is no reason to believe that consumer consumption plans always coincides with the producer's production plan. That producer's plan to invest matches always with households' plan to save. Not required. In reality, the things are different. Investment is different. Consumption is different. So it is not possible that it happens. So equilibrium always happens at full employment. Sometimes we have to do some adjustments. If the aggregate expenditure line intersects 45-degree line at the level of potential GDP, then there is full employment equilibrium. There is no recession and unemployment is at the natural rate. But there is no guarantee that the equilibrium will occur at the potential GDP level of output. Not required. There should be a equilibrium. The economy can settle at any equilibrium which might be higher or lower the full employment equilibrium. So that's why we call it as deflationary gap, or there can be inflationary gap. We will discuss about this deflationary and inflationary gap with the help of this topic here. See, there has to be equilibrium. Agree? Yes, there has to be equilibrium, but not required that there is equilibrium at every time. No, not required. There will be equilibrium at every time. Not required. There can be disequilibrium. There can be disequilibrium. Because of what, sir? There is disequilibrium because of deflationary gap or because of inflationary gap. There is no full employment. There is deflation. There is inflationary gap. That might be there. We will discuss about that deflationary and inflationary gap, which will lead to disequilibrium. Here, if the aggregate demand for an amount of output less than the full employment level of output, then we say there is a deficient demand. So there is no demand. For example, a firm has a capacity to produce 2000 units. 2000 units. But the demand by household, no? The demand by household is just 1200 units. What has happened here? Extra production hua na? How much? 800 units of extra production. Yes or no? 800 units of extra production hua hai. 800 units. Sir, 800 units of extra production. To sell this, what firms will do? You tell me. To sell this, what the firm does to sell this? To sell this, firm will start reducing the price. Correct? Firm will start reducing the price to sell this. So that if they reduce the price, क्या होगा? Deflation होगा ना? So that's why it is called as deflationary gap. The full employment is at one level. If you employ full employment of all the resources, factors of production, if you employ all the resources or factors of production, the output is something different. But equilibrium is happening at some level. Equilibrium is happening at some level. So that is nothing but deficient demand. So we will discuss that with the help of example here. Listen. Where is equilibrium point? Where is equilibrium point? This one, E. At point E, there is equilibrium. Correct now? Where aggregate demand, this is aggregate supply, and this is aggregate demand. Correct? Aggregate demand, and this is aggregate supply. Okay. Now, aggregate demand, this is aggregate demand, and the aggregate supply is meeting at this point. It is meeting at this point. What is this? Equilibrium point. But nation has more capacity, bachcho. Nation, country has more capacity to produce. If they fully employ all their factors of production, then actual output is this one. Actual output is this one, so that they can supply to this extent. They can supply to the extent of F. They can supply to the extent of F. But at this quantity of production, what is the demand? This is the demand, no? Country's demand is actually at the employment, full employment of resources. Actual demand is G. But actual supply can be F. So what is the difference here? This is deflationary gap. This is deflationary. This leads to deflation. Obviously, we have discussed that if the supply is more than demand, then it will lead to deflation. Where we discuss, sir, chapter number 4, unit number 2. 10 diagrams. Remember 10 diagrams that we discussed in chapter number 4, unit number 2, where supply is greater than demand. Here. Where supply, okay, supply and demand, supply increases, sir. Supply increase. This is S1. This is S. What happens? This is equilibrium price. Equilibrium price reduced, no? Equilibrium price reduced. Chapter number 4, unit number 2. Yes. So the same thing happens here. This is called as deflationary gap. This is called as deflationary gap. Very much important one. This is called as deflationary gap. Good luck to there. Okay, sir, then what is inflationary gap? Before going to inflationary gap, we will discuss the what is given in this para. Deficient demand gives rise to a deflationary gap. That means demand is less, supply is more. It raised to a deflationary gap or recessionary gap. Recessionary gap also known as contractionary gap. Listen, there are recession, deflation, contraction. These three names are there for this gap. It can be called as deflationary gap, recessionary gap, contractionary gap. Arises in the Keynesian model of macroeconomy when the equilibrium level of aggregate production achieved in the short run falls short of what could be produced at full employment. Okay, what could be produced at full employment, it falls short. What is demand, that is less, and at full employment level, what could have been the demand or what could have been the supply? That supply is greater than that demand. Supply is greater than that demand. Okay. Yes. Recessionary gap occurs when the economy is in a business cycle contraction or recession. In the figure, OQ star is the full employment level of output. Correct? No. O, this is O, Q star. This is full employment level. This is full employment level. O, Q star. Okay. Next. For the economy to be at full employment equilibrium, aggregate demand should be O, Q star F. What should have been at this full employment, what should have been the total demand? What should have been the total demand for equilibrium? It should be, it should have been kitna? Q star F तक होना चाहिए था. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತನಕ ಇರಬೇಕಿತ್ತು. But what is the actual demand? See, this is Q star F is the required demand. But what is actual demand? Actual demand is equal to Q star G. That is actual demand. So Q star F is greater than Q star G. That's why this difference is called as deflationary gap. This difference is called as deflationary gap. This difference is called as deflationary gap. Okay, so this is difference. This difference, that is deflationary gap, that is given here. If the aggregate demand is Q star G, it represents the situation of deficient demand. Demand is less here. The resulting deflationary gap is FG. Correct? No, the difference is FG. FG is the difference. Okay, sir. Understood. The firm will experience unplanned buildup of inventories. It is inventories. Unplanned buildup of inventories of unsold goods, and they will be respond by cutting the production and employment, leading to decrease in the output and income until the underemployment equilibrium is reached at E. So what they do? Next time when they're producing, they will stop producing or they will not produce too much. To sell that, they have to go for deflation, and ultimately in the next year, they will produce less quantity. That will lead to unemployment. Unemployment, no. There is factors of production, but we cannot employ because it will lead to deflationary gap. That will lead to actually unemployment. Okay. So this is deflationary gap. Give me a thumbs up if you understood. Fast. Give me a thumbs up if you understood. No one is there in the class. Hey, or no one understood. Okay. Yes. Good. Pranjal ji, Abhilash ji, super. Super. Manya, nice. Okay. Here. Deepak, superb. Nice. So basically, I'll tell you again, one last time. I'll tell you, what is this deflationary gap, sir? One last time, I'm telling you, what is this deflationary gap? See, if I employ all the fact being a firm, if I employ all the factors of production, then my total output would have been uh, in this diagram. If I consume all my factors of production, my total output would have been so much. Total output, actual output would have been so much. Yes. Okay, sir. Correct. But लेकिन equilibrium के लिए I want only this much. So equilibrium happens somewhere here, sir. Equilibrium happens somewhere here. But there is, what is this, sir? This is extra production. Obviously, for extra production, there should be deflation. For extra production, I have to sell it at lower price. I have to sell that amount at lower price. After this production, there will be deflationary gap that goes on increasing. If you go on increasing the production, if you go on increasing the production, that leads to deflation because it is ineffective use of the resources. The resources, no, you are not doing optimum utilization of resources. You are wasting the resources by producing, which is unnecessary. So it leads to deflation in the economy. It leads to deflation. So at this level, actual demand should have been this one. Why this one, sir? This is where it intersect. No, it has to intersect at that point. That should have been the actual demand. But this is anticipated demand, but this is actual demand. I have written both. Okay, this is ED, expected demand, but this is actual demand. The difference between these two is deflationary gap. This is deflationary gap. Now, can you tell me where it is inflationary gap? How to draw the inflationary gap? Everyone, you have to try it on your own. Try it, try it, try it. Inflationary gap. Sir, how to draw inflationary gap? I'll do it here and you have to do along with me. Okay. What could be inflationary gap? So, in the graph, this is O and think that this is 45-degree line. This is 45-degree line. Okay. ये तो 45-degree line है. So this is 45-degree line. And this is demand. We know that demand is flatter line. Can you tell me why demand is flat? Why demand will be flat? Because of marginal propensity to consume. Because of marginal propensity to consume, it will be flat. Okay. Which is this? This is aggregate supply. This is aggregate demand. Aggregate supply and aggregate demand. And this is, ये क्या है? This is equilibrium. Yes, no? This is equilibrium point. This is equilibrium. Okay, this is equilibrium point. Okay, sir, understood. This is equilibrium point. Now, inflation means what? When inflation happens, question mark, if aggregate demand is greater than aggregate supply, demand is more, sir, supply is less. Again, demand is more, supply is less. Then people start demanding more and more. When people start demanding more, supply is less, then there will be inflation. Demand is more, supply is less. When this will happen, see, if I draw a line here, क्या हुआ है इसमें? What has happened here? Supply is more, demand is less. This is deflationary gap, no? Supply is more, demand is less. What has to happen? Demand is more, supply is less. That means here, this is where supply is less, demand is more. This is demand. This one is supply, no? Demand is more, supply is less. So this is called as inflationary gap. This is inflationary gap. Same point, ulta. I have written it ulta. See? Can you see here? In this diagram, can you see in this diagram? See, demand. See, this is the, क्या हुआ इसमें? Inflationary. See, this is equilibrium point. This is equilibrium point. E. E is equilibrium point. And Q star, actual quantity is less. Actual quantity is less here. Correct? No. That means demand should have been this much because this is the supply line. Demand should have been this much, but actual demand is this one. Why? Because equilibrium point is here, no? This is actual demand. This is anticipated demand. This should have been the demand. C plus I1. C plus I1. That is anticipated demand. It should have been the demand. So that there it leads to inflation. If you are the supplier of a product and you come to know that there is more demand for that product, what you do? What you will do? You will start increasing the price. Hayana, yes or no? You will start increasing the price. So that will lead to inflation. Ashte, as simple as that. This is actually not a straight, complete line. It is dotted line. Which one? This one is dotted line. Dotted line. Anticipated demand it is. Demand should reduce by so much. So to reduce the demand, what you have to do? You have to increase the price. It will lead to inflationary gap. See what is inflationary gap? In the aggregate demand, if the aggregate demand is for an amount of output greater than the full employment level of output, then we say there is excess demand. Excess demand gives rise to inflationary gap, which is the amount by which actual aggregate demand exceeds the level of aggregate demand required to establish the full employment equilibrium. So excess demand gives rise to inflationary gap, which is the amount by which actual aggregate demand exceeds. Actual demand is more than the, what should be the demand? At that level of output, demand should be equilibrium, no? But there is no equilibrium. Demand is actually greater than, actual demand is greater than anticipated demand. So that gap is called as inflationary gap. This is the sort of gap that tends to occur during the business cycle expansion and sets in motion forces that will cause demand pull inflation. So it will lead to demand pull inflation, not demand push. Not, we are not pushing the demand, we are pulling the demand. Demand, you are way beyond our expectation, we have to pull you back. To pull the demand, we have to increase the price. This is demand pull inflation. It is demand pull inflation. Okay. बता दिया हाँ या ना? Yes or no? हाँ sir. Yes sir. Okay, fine. Ipo, the next topic that we are discussing is wait. Here in the figure above, they have just explained you. In the figure above, the economy will be at full employment equilibrium at F. Correct now? Here. With OQ star. OQ star के साथ actually full employment is here. F. Full employment level. Suppose the aggregate demand is for Q star G. Suppose aggregate demand is actually more, sir. Actually, this should have been the aggregate demand. But what has happened? This is aggregate demand. Don't you think aggregate demand is more? Yes, there is excess demand and resulting inflationary gap, FG. So this is FG inflationary gap. Okay. The real output will be constant, but the raise in the price level will cause an increase in the nominal output unit. Output until the new equilibrium is reached at point E. So they go on increasing the price so that demand goes on reducing. So finally, no, have to increase the output. They have to increase the output or demand has to decrease. What happens here? What they have told, the real output will be constant, but the raise in the price level will causes the increase in the nominal output until the new equilibrium is reached. Output increases if price increases, yes or no? Yes, in chapter number 2, unit number 3, we discussed if price increases, supply also increases. Correct? Price increases, supply increases, and demand also decreases. A little bit of decrease in demand, little bit of increase in supply, equilibrium. Demand is more, supply is less, no? That is what happened here. See, demand is more, supply is less. Now, if the price increases, demand will reduce a bit, supply will increase a bit, equilibrium. So it will lead to equilibrium. Point E is an equilibrium point because the aggregate demand ME is equal to output OM. At the new equilibrium, real output, real income, employment will be the same. Nominal output and income has increased due to inflation. In the Keynesian model, neither wages nor interest rates will decline in the face of abnormally high unemployment and excess capacity. This is one assumption. Keynesian model, in the Keynesian model, neither wages nor interest rates will decline. Okay. That is one assumption. Therefore, the output will remain at less than the full employment rate as long as there is insufficient spending in the economy. One effect it is. It's just an effect. Keynes argued that this was precisely what was happening during the Great Depression. Remember, we discussed about Great Depression. Kaha, sir? In the first of the chapter, beginning of the chapter, we discussed that what was the importance of Keynes' theory? Here, see. There was nothing to justify their recommendations. During Great Depression, see, the Great Depression. During Great Depression, there was nothing to justify why we have to go for some of the macroeconomic theories, macroeconomics. Why we have to, there was no theories, proper theories, so that J.M. Keynes gave a proper theory for Great Depression. So that is being addressed again here. That is addressed again here. So during Great Depression, it was Keynes who gave his ideas. Some of the numerical illustrations. Shall we do the numerical illustrations? Illustration number 2. Illustration number 1 is already done. Where was illustration number 1? Oh, this was illustration number 1. What will be the value of average propensity to save? We did not calculate this. Okay. Shall we calculate illustration number 1? What will be the value of average propensity to save? Average propensity to save when C is equal to 200 and Y is equal to 1000. Obviously, average propensity to save. What is the answer? 800 divided by 1000. Average propensity to consume. What is the formula for average propensity to consume? C divided by Y, not delta C by Y. What is delta C by Y? Marginal propensity to consume. What is asked? Average propensity to consume. I'm talking to you about average propensity to consume. Average propensity to consume is C by Y. What is average propensity to save? S divided by Y. What is the answer? 800 divided by 1000, it is 0.8. Here, S is equal to 450, Y is equal to 1200. You just have to do 450 divided by 1200. Ashte. 450 divided by 1200. This is illustration number 1. Chiller illustration, sir. Okay, so that was the illustration which we have seen in the first illustration. Now, illustration number 2. Calculate marginal propensity to consume and marginal propensity to save from the following data about an economy which is in equilibrium. They told that it is in equilibrium where C plus I is equal to C plus S. Keep this in mind. You have to calculate. What you have to calculate? Marginal propensity to consume and marginal propensity to save. MPC and MPS. What we have to calculate? MPC and MPS. Marginal propensity to consume and marginal propensity to save. Okay. National income is 2,500. Correct. Autonomous consumption expenditure is 300. Now you tell me, what is this autonomous consumption expenditure? Autonomous, that means constant or pre-decided. Autonomous. It's not variable, it is autonomous. It is already there. Even if your income is 0, consumption is 300. So A is 300 given. National income is 2,500. That is also given. Okay. Investment expenditure is 100. I is equal to 100. ये भी दिया हुआ है, sir. Now what you have to calculate? What you need to calculate is B. How to calculate B? We have many ideas, sir. C is equal to A plus B into Y. Correct? Correct, no? What is C, sir? Consumption. Consumption is C. Now I have to do I have A here? Yes. 300 plus B into B, I don't know. That is what they are asking me to calculate. B, marginal propensity to consume. Into Y. Do I know Y? Yes, 2,500, sir. Can I solve this? No. Why? Because I don't know what is C. Two figures are missing. One is C is also missing, B is also missing. Now B I have to find out. That means C I will get it from somewhere. How to calculate C? Very easy. What is income? See, we already discussed that C plus I is equal to C plus S. Now, can you tell me what is C plus S? What is the meaning of aggregate supply? Correct, no? C plus S is aggregate supply. Do you remember that in last class we discussed C plus S is nothing but income it is. Income. C plus S is nothing but income. So, if C plus S is 2,500, income no, 2,500. C plus S is 2,500. If C plus S is 2,500, then C plus I should also be 2,500. Array, is equal to mark is there, no? Equilibrium. So, can I say that C plus I is equal to 2,500? C plus 100 is equal to 2,500. Then C is equal to 2,400. Okay, sir, I got C. So here 2,400 is C. 2,400 minus 300. 2,100 is equal to B into 2,500. Now what is B? What to do? 2100 divided by 2500. You will get the answer. I don't have my calculator. Can someone tell me the answer? आ गया रे मेरा कैलकुलेटर. 2100 divided by 2500. Answer 0.84. B is equal to 0.84. Again, y is equal to 2500. Given in the question, what I'm doing now, I'm just writing what are the things which are given in the question. Y is equal to 2500, A is equal to 300, I is equal to 100. So these are the important points which are given. And one more, they told that all these things are at equilibrium. What is equilibrium, sir? AD is equal to AS. Can I say that AS is nothing but Y? We discussed in last class. Yes. Can I write AS is nothing but Y? AD is equal to Y. Aggregate demand is equal to aggregate supply. Nothing but income. Okay. AD is equal to C plus I. That is equal to Y is already given. 2500. So I is given here as 100. C plus 100 is equal to 2500. So C is equal to 2500 minus 100. C is equal to 2400. Sir, I know that C is equal to A plus B into Y. C is equal to A 300 plus B into Y 2500. C is 2400 is equal to 300 plus B into 2500. 2400 minus 300 is equal to B into 2500. 2100 is equal to B multiplied by 2500. B is equal to 2100 divided by 2500. B is equal to 0.84. This is how we will calculate this question. ठीक है? Yes, no? Yes, almost everyone gave the answer. Superb. Guys, superb. This is 0.84. This is the answer. Shall we try one more question? One more question, sir. Huh. Illustration number 3. Can you try it on your own? Yes. An economy is in equilibrium. Again, huh? Calculate the national income. What you have to calculate now? Y. From the following. Autonomous consumption. What is autonomous consumption? A. Marginal propensity to save is given. Save it is not consume. Okay. 0.2. Investment is given. Fast. Can you tell me what is Y? Can we calculate here? Uh, how to calculate? I'll try it. 100, 0.2 and 200, no? A is equal to 100. Marginal propensity to save is given. MPS is equal to 0.2. That means MPC is equal to 0.8. Correct, no? If MPS is 0.2, MPC is 0.8. I is equal to कितना कितना दिया था? I is equal to 200. I is 200. Now we know that AD plus, sorry, what am I writing here? We know that equilibrium में, at equilibrium, AD is equal to AS, or C plus I is equal to C plus S. C plus I is equal to C plus S, or C plus I is equal to Y. Do I know C? A plus B into Y plus kitna? I is 200. Okay, I is equal to Y. Yes. So with the help of this, I have to find out income now. So Y is equal to A plus BY plus I. Correct? Okay. Y is equal to A is given. What is A? 100. 100 plus B is given, sir? Yes. 0.8. Marginal propensity to consume. 0.8 multiplied by Y plus I is there, sir? Yes. 200. I is 200. So Y is equal to 300 plus 0.8Y. So 0.8Y, I'll bring it this side. 0.2Y is equal to 300. So Y is equal to 300 divided by 0.2. Answer, Y is equal to 1500. है ना? You want me to answer this again? Very good. Deepak ji, you are right. Sandhya, very nice. Okay. No, Deepak says no. So this is how you derived it. From here, I went on writing what are the things given. These things are given. And they told that equilibrium mein AD is equal to AS, that we know. Or AD is nothing but C plus I, and this is C plus S. We know that aggregate supply itself is income. Okay. C plus I is equal to Y. This we got to know now. This we know. What is C? That also we know. A plus BY is plus I is equal to Y. C is nothing but A plus BY. So the formula from here, we have to start solving now. Y is equal to A plus BY plus I. Y is equal to 100 plus 0.8Y plus 200. Now I just went on solving this. So finally, I got answer as 1500. Okay. Can you calculate for illustration number 4 fast? Suppose the consumption of an economy is given by C is equal to 20 plus 6Y. Can you tell me what is 20? Autonomous. Plus 0.6Y. What is 0.6Y? It is 0.6 is B here. Marginal propensity to consume. And investment is also given. I is equal to 10 plus 0.2Y. That means investment here is not autonomous. They gave equation for that. What will be the equilibrium level of national income? They're asking you. What will be the equilibrium level of national income? Can we calculate, sir? Yes, C plus I kar do. What you will get? Aggregate supply. Aggregate demand is equal to C plus I. That is equal to C plus S, nothing but Y. You have to solve now. I'll give you 2 minutes. Start. I'll give you 2 minutes. Start. Yes. Who got the answer? किसको मिला आंसर? नहीं, no one. कैसे? वो कैसे सर? Okay, C20 0.6y, 10 0.2y. Deepak got the answer. Sandhya got the answer. Disha got the answer. Very nice. Super. So equilibrium में we know that at equilibrium में aggregate demand is equal to aggregate supply. What is aggregate demand? C plus I. Aggregate supply C plus S, or I can say that C plus I is equal to Y. Aggregate supply is nothing but income. So here, with the help of this, Y is equal to C. What is C? A plus BY. Given, no? A plus BY. 20 plus 0.6Y. 20 plus 0.6Y. Plus I. What is I? Given here. 10 plus 0.2Y. 10 plus 0.2Y. So Y is equal to 30 plus 0.8Y. Or I can say that 0.2Y is equal to 30. Y is equal to 30 divided by 0.2. Y is equal to 150 is the answer. Ashte. Vishya Ashte, sir. Mathematics it is. है ना? Mathematics, sir. Okay. Next one. See the other illustration 5, 6, 7, 8. All these illustrations I have taken it from your study mat, so that please refer that questions or take a screenshot. Take a screenshot and solve this. Solve this question. Please do solve this question. Silly questions are there. People, solve these questions. So the next one is, next topic we are discussing here is investment multiplier. Investment multiplier. Sir, what is this investment multiplier? Looks like difficult topic, but listen, very easy one. The topic is फालतूगिरी है ये. Very easy topic. Listen, in this section, we develop an answer to the following question. By how much does a 1 unit increase in autonomous spending raise the equilibrium level of income? Autonomous spending. What is autonomous spending? Investment. Autonomous. That means fixed spending. That is nothing but investment. Correct? No. In case of C, that is consumption, aggregate demand. In aggregate demand, C plus I. C is not autonomous, but I is autonomous. If there is increase in autonomous spending, how much will be the increase in income? See, obviously, in reality also, listen to me carefully. In reality, what happens now? We start one business. Can we start a business without fixed investment? Some fixed expenditure should be there, no? Will be there. Usually one fixed expenditure will be there. Even if you start one pani puri shop, one booth to chahiye na. At least one umbrella to chahiye. That is fixed investment, no? That is not circulating. That is fixed investment. At least for 1 year, it will be fixed, no? If you put 2 umbrellas, 2 people can stand there. Correct. See, if that investment increases, obviously your earning capacity increases. Now the question is, by what rate? Earning capacity increases by what rate? For example, there was one guy. Okay. There was one guy who had one umbrella. This umbrella. Okay. In that, he had one pani puri. This is full of pani puri. There are very too much of pani puris. Okay. Here there are pani puris. My students already know. Pani puri, guys. They said, please be careful. Do you want me to tell you some irregularities in pani puri? Not everyone. Golgappa. Not everyone does this, but there are some Golgappa guys. They never speak. You know why? पानी पूरी देते हैं ना, उनके मुंह में पान मसाला होता है, पान मसाला. एंड यू नो समटाइम्स दिस पान मसाला का पानी पूरी का पानी लाल कलर का होता है. क्यों लाल कलर? रेड कलर का पानी मिलता है आपको. क्यों पता है? क्योंकि नहीं चाहिए ना. I'm so sorry. Here, listen. So these guys know. He was having one umbrella. In that umbrella, he was selling some pani puri. Golgappe guy. He was selling some golgappas. And nowadays you have seen that. Have you seen there is one guy? Okay. And he will be having one counter. Earlier it was umbrella. Now there is one counter. There is one counter and he'll keep many dabbas here. And one puri, one flavor. Different puris, different flavors. And there are more number of people who are standing here. But there is only 2 people who are standing here. Why? Because here there are different flavors and he is putting one, he'll put one gloves. They say that which is very hygiene. Okay. Might be. I'm so sorry. Might be. Might be a hygiene pani puri also or golgappa also. I'm so sorry. I'm not one to comment that. Here. This. If you upgrade your investment, obviously what has happened here? Number of people are more. Number of customers are more. They have increased. So the sales got increased. By what rate? That is the question mark. By what rate it will increase, sir? So that is called as investment multiplier. What is the change in autonomous income, autonomous spending that raises your equilibrium level of income? There appears to be a simple answer. Since in equilibrium, income equals aggregate demand, it would seem that A unit increase in autonomous demand or spending should raise equilibrium income by 1 unit. No, not required. This is not correct. If you increase autonomous spending by 1 rupee, your income also has to increase by 1 rupee. No, not required. It can be more than that. In fact, the effect of an increase in investment, upward shift in the investment schedule, causes an upward shift in the aggregate demand function. It is due to a process of multiple increase in equilibrium income due to increase in investment, nothing but multipliers. And hence, much increase occurs depends upon the marginal propensity to consume. It depends on marginal MPC. The process of increase in national income due to increase in investment depicts the investment multiplier impact, which is illustrated below. You just look at this diagram. ಏನ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಿದೆ? ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಪಟ್ಟೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತಿದೆ ಸರ್? ತುಂಬಾನೇ ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. But try to understand this diagram, no? Try understanding this diagram. What is there in this diagram? First of all, C plus I. Here, listen. What is C plus I? C plus I? Aggregate demand. Correct, no? C plus I is aggregate demand. There are some autonomous investment. Already some autonomous investment is included. There is delta I. What is delta I? Change in investment. So this extra which is there, no? This is delta I. Obviously, that has to be constant, no? It's not variable. Investment itself is constant. It is not variable. If you are increasing by 200 rupees, investment increases by 200 rupees. That means this gap is delta I. This gap is delta I. Because of this delta I, aggregate demand, no? See, because of this delta I, aggregate demand did shift here. Aggregate demand got shifted to this line. This was the line. Initial aggregate demand. Because of investment, because of additional investment, this additional investment, aggregate demand did shift here. It got shifted to upward. It did shift to upward. क्या हुआ? This was the original equilibrium, है ना? This was the original equilibrium. Now that got changed to this equilibrium. See, this is the change in equilibrium income. Because of increase in investment got increased by delta I, income got increased to Y1. Income got increased to Y1. Okay. So equilibrium. Now what is equilibrium, sir? Earlier, S plus I was the equilibrium. Now, S is equal to I. Earlier, S is equal to I was the equilibrium. Now, S is equal to I plus delta I is the equilibrium. This is equilibrium now. What is this? This is S point and this is I plus delta I. So S is equal to I plus delta I will be the equilibrium. Only that is the change. Nothing changed here. People getting this? You are only have to understand that investment has increased. Investment has increased. Because of increase in the investment, income also got increased. Now, if you closely observe, what is the gap here? Less compared to the gap here. Income increases more proportionately than increase in investment. Can I say that delta I is less than delta Y? Change in investment is less. You look at the gap here, small gap, but look at the gap here, big gap. Why this happens, sir? Because of this marginal propensity. Because of that marginal propensity to consume. Because of that marginal propensity to consume, this gap has occurred. So that is given here, no? See, depends upon marginal propensity to consume. It depends upon marginal propensity to consume. So there is one explanation which is given here, which we already discussed about that explanation. Sir, in the figure above, an increase in autonomous investment or shift the aggregate demand schedule from C plus I to C plus I plus delta I. It is delta I, C plus I plus delta I. Correspondingly, the equilibrium shift from E to E dash. Correct? No. C plus I that got shifted to C plus I plus delta I. So that equilibrium also gets shifted from E to E dash. Okay. And the equilibrium income increases more than proportionately from Y naught to Y1. Correct? Y naught to Y1. More than proportionately. Look at the gap. This is the small gap here, but this is the big gap here. Yes. Why and how does this happen, sir? This occurs due to the operation of the investment multiplier. This is because of investment multiplier. So now the question is, sir, what is the meaning of multiplier here? Multiplier refers to the phenomenon whereby increase in investment expenditure will lead to a proportionately larger change in the equilibrium level of national income. A small change in investment leads to greater change in the income. That's why it is called as multiplier. Otherwise, it would have been a deflator. It would have been deflator. Correct? No. GDP deflator. Remember GDP deflator? What it used to do? From nominal income to real income. Nominal income will be usually more than real income. Agree? Nominal income usually, generally, it is more than real income. Okay. The investment multiplier explains how many times the equilibrium aggregate income increases as a result of an increase in autonomous investment. How many times? Now, example, because of 100 rupee increase in the investment. What is this 100 rupees then? Delta I. Because of 100 rupee increase in investment, your income got increased by 200. What is this? Delta Y. Then what is multiplier? How many times the income got increased? That is delta Y. How many times investment got increased? Delta I. So 200 divided by 100. Answer is 2 times. If investment increases by 1 rupee, income increases by 2 rupees. That means 2 times. This is multiplier. So given here, when the level of investment increases by an amount, say, okay, not given here. Say you write it. You write it. Say level of investment increases by 100 rupees and income increases by 200 rupees. Then K is equal to, what is K? Investment multiplier, delta Y divided by delta I. K is equal to delta Y divided by delta I. You just have to understand the logic. What is this investment multiplier? It will just calculate because of increase in investment, what is the increase in income? What is the rate of increase in income? So that we are going to calculate. This is nothing but K is equal to delta Y divided by delta I. How many times income will increase compared to investment? Increase in investment. How many times increase in income has happened because of increase in investment? So this is called as, this is nothing but investment multiplier. See, the size of multiplier effects is given by no, not required. There is some issue here. Something is missing there. Not required. Directly go to the example. I'll tell you what is the importance of K. Now, here we already discussed what is the importance of K. Correct? No? Did we discuss what is the importance of K? See, if your investment increases by 1 rupee, your income increases by 2 rupees. That is nothing but multiplier. Why? Because multiplier is 2. What I can do? I'll say that, I'll tell you, investment increased by 50 rupees. Can you tell me what happens to the income? Simply what you have to do, investment multiplied by 2. Answer is 100. Income increases by 100. If multiplier is 2, investment, increase in investment is 50, then 2 multiplied by 50. Answer is 100. One more question, sir. If investment is 25, increase in delta I is 25 and K is equal to 3. Can you calculate what is delta Y? What is delta Y? 3 multiplied by 25. Answer is 75. Correct? No. Array, how to calculate K? K is equal to delta Y divided by delta I. 75 divided by 25. Answer is 3. No. Answer is 3. The same formula I did interchange. So this is given here with the one example. See, for example, if a change in investment is rupees 2000 million, what is this now? Delta I causes a change in national income of rupees 6,000 million. It changed to 6,000, income changed to 6,000 million. That is delta Y it is. This is delta I and this one is delta Y. You have to calculate the multiplier. कैसे calculate करें sir? Delta Y divided by delta I. That is equal to 6,000 divided by 2,000. Answer is 3. Answer is 3. Answer is 3. This is the answer here. Thus, multiplier indicates the change it is change in equilibrium national income for each rupee change in the desired autonomous investment. Since the increase in national income, that is delta Y, is the result of increase in investment, delta I, multiplier is called as investment multiplier. So this is called as investment multiplier. ठीक है? Correct? Okay. You do one thing. You just go through all these points. We will take 5 minutes break. 5 minutes. I'll give you one more break. Don't worry. 10 minutes break now. So we'll take 10 minutes break. Not 15 minutes, 10 minutes break. I'll be back. Okay? Yes. Hello, welcome back. Everyone, welcome back. We'll continue here. Continuing the process behind the multiplier can be compared to the ripple effect of water. Let us assume that you know what is ripple effect, ripple or pebble effect. So what is ripple effect? I'll tell you. See, you take a pebble in the water in the river. When we go to river side, no, we'll take a pebble, a small stone. It's a flat stone, and what we do, we will throw it on the water, and a slant throw on the water. What it does, it will take a big pitch, and there will be a small pitch, and the next one will be little small and small, 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 like this, and later वो डूब जाएगा. So this is called as ripple effect. Let us assume that initial disturbance comes from the change in the autonomous investment of 500 units. Okay, change in I, which is 500 units. The economy being in equilibrium, an upward shift in the aggregate demand leads to an increase in the national income, which in two-sector economy will be, by definition, distributed as factor income. Correct? No. If there is investment, there is demand for investment, immediately demand will increase. Right now, the demand for investment item that got increased, there will be an equal increase in the disposable income as well. In two-sector model, if investment increases, immediately there will be amount in the hands of household. They will start increasing their demand also. Firms experience increased demand. Immediately what happens? They demand increase, firm experience the increased demand, and as a response, their output increases again. See, if firm increases the investment, immediately the household get income. Households will get income. They will spend it again on firm, again on household, like this. So that keeps rotating. Okay. The process further continues as an autonomous raise in the investment leads to induced increase in consumer demand as income increases. So income increases. We find at the end that the increase in equilibrium income per rupee increase in investment is delta Y divided by delta I. Or can you tell me what is delta I? Delta Y divided by delta I. Wait. 1 divided by 1 minus MPC or 1 divided by MPS. Delta Y divided by delta I. 1 minute. Okay. So this is separate, different approach it is. It is different approach, guys. Listen. If there is more consumption, what happens? If there is more consumption, then there will be more demand. If there is more demand, multiplier will be the big one. So there is no relation between delta Y divided by delta I. I was finding the relationship between delta Y by delta I with 1 divided by 1 minus NPC. There is no relation. This is separate approach. The approach itself is different here. Okay. Multiplier will be more. See, listen. 1 divided by 1 minus MPC. MPC is nothing but 1 divided by MPS hoga ye. If you save more, what happens? The leakage will be more. If you save more, leakage will be more. Listen. Everyone, 100% attention here. Little tricky, but very easy. Sir, kya bak rahe hai, sir? Tricky as well as easy. Yes. It is tricky. If you understand, then it will be easy. Listen. Example. In the economy, this is economy as a whole. Okay. Economy, there was 500 crore. Same example. 500 crore. There was 500 crore. In the economy, the total income was 500. Total amount which was there with the people, that was 500 crore. If there is savings more, example, 50 rupees savings hua, 50 crore got saved, then economy has only 450 crores. That will get multiplied. That keeps rotating now. See, if 50 crore is saved, that we will not get for circulation. If circulation is more, then the income will be more. Now circulation is less. 450 crore is the circulation. That means if you save more, circulation will be less. If you save more, then circulation will be less. That means national income will be less. Now only 450. We have only 450 to only 450 to circulate. That means to the max 450 will be the income of one person. Correct. 450 to circulate. If we don't save, that 50 also will get for circulation. It keeps circulating. It will make a big cycle and multiplier. So that multiplier amount will be more. So now see, how many times it will get multiplied? That is the question. Think that. See the different approach now. Different approach. Listen. Think 500 is there. 500 crore was initial investment. So that any firm, a firm expects 10%. What? 10% profit. Think 10% profit. Out of this 500 crore, he wished to get 10% profit. That means it will get multiplied to 550 crore. Correct. He will spend 500 crore and he wants 550 crore back. Once he gets 550 crore, again he will invest that 50 crore extra, he will invest now. And he wished to get 555 crores now. 55 crores. He wished, next time he will wish 55 crore extra. That means it will become 555 crores. Now again he will invest. Getting this? This is getting multiplied again and again and again. So that goes on multiplying. But what if it was 500 crore say, 500 crore say, if you take out 50 crore, now what will multiply? Only for 450 crores will multiply, no? 450 crores will become 495 crores. Look at the difference between 550 and 495 crores. So this will go on multiplying, no? So this is called as multiplier effect. Multiplier effect. So that's why this I'll show you one more example. I'll stop sharing here and I'll share you one Excel sheet. Okay. Excel sheet mein just observe here. Just observe. This is multiplier, the phenomenon of multiplier phenomenon. You just observe this. There was 500 crore. That 500 crore will become next year 550 crore. How it became 550, sir? Is equal to this plus this into 10%. 550 crores hoga. Next year, 550 crores I will invest and I'll get 10% on 550 crores. That will become 605 crores. Like this, it goes on happening. Correct? For 14th year, it will be 1426.5. Like this. Correct? No. It goes on happening. Same way here. 450 crores. If it is 450 crores, then it will be 495. This goes on happening. Sorry. Look at the difference, guys. Look at the difference. So there is difference here. Multiplier. This is called as multiplier. You save. For example, what is the difference here? You saved 50 crores. You saved 50 crores. What if I save 100 crore? 400 here. See, it will become 440. Look at the difference. Can you see the difference? 1,426, 1,283, 1,141. So these are the differences here. So that means if you save more, the multiplier, the rate it gets multiplied more, that that will be less. That will be less here. Correct? Godaktidiya? Yes, wait. Wait for a while. Okay. So this is one point here. This is one point. And I'll give you one more perspective of multiplier. Actually, this is one example, simple example. You know what happens exactly in the economy? If all of us have the habit of saving, example, MPS, 20% of our income. If all of us have the habit of saving somewhere 20% of our income, that is MPS. MPS, what happens? See, for example, I got 500 rupees. What I'll do is equal to this minus this into 20%. What is this 400? Out of 500 rupees, I will save 200 and I will spend only 400. I gave this 400 to whom? I gave this 400 to you. 500, initially government gave me 500. In that 500, I'll spend 400 and other 100, I will save it. Now you got 400. Marginal propensity to save. Your marginal propensity. All of us may have same marginal propensity to save. Think. All of us have same marginal propensity to save. So you got 400 income. What you do now is equal to this plus this multiplied by 20%. What you do? You will save 20% and no, not plus, minus. You will save 20% and what you do? You will spend this. For example, Mr. A got 500. Mr. A spent 500 and Mr. B, he spent 500. Mr. A spent 500. That means he gave 500 rupees to Mr. B. What Mr. B did? Mr. B Mr. B spent 400. He kept 200 with him and he's 100 with him and he spent 400. To C. Now C got 400 out of which he spent only 320. 80 rupees he saved. What happened to Mr. D now? He spent the amount to Mr. D. Okay. Now D, what he will do? He will do the same activity. He will save 20%. He will save 20%. And E, what E does? He will also do the same thing, no? Likewise, this goes on and on and on. This goes for multiplier, no? We are calculating multiplier. This goes on and on and on. Finally, sir, what is the answer? Sum is equal to, can you see the sum here? Totally, at the end, it will be 2,500. 500 went on spending. 500, my spending is 500. I gave 500 rupees to you. You saved 20 rupees. I mean, 100 rupees. You saved 100 rupees and you spent 400 rupees on someone. That other person, he saved 80 rupees and he spent 320. That other person who got 320, he saved 20% and he spent some amount. This went on and on and on. N number of times this happened. Finally, what is the total expenditure method? What is the total expenditure of all of us? It will be 2,500. How it is 2,500, sir? How it is 2,500? Simply, it is equal to 1 divided by 0.2. What is 0.2? Marginal propensity to save is equal to, it is 5, no? Multiplier is 5. That means is equal to 5 into government gave me 500 is equal to answer is 2,500. It is perpetuity. It is perpetuity. Correct? No, see, look at the answer here. I'll explain again. See, Mr. A got 500. Got 500. It is income. Income. And his savings. His savings will be is equal to this multiplied by 20%. है ना? That is his savings, 100 rupees. If the 100 rupees is savings, what is his expenditure? What is his expenditure? Is equal to income minus savings. 400 hoga. His expenditure is 400, no? 500 minus 100. And he spent it on Mr. B. What happened here? What is income of Mr. B? Mr. A gave it to Mr. B. How much amount? 400. So is equal to 400. Enter. What is his savings? Marginal propensity to save in the economy is 0.2. Control D. 80 rupees is the saving. Expenditure will be 400 minus 80. 320. Answer is 320. Likewise, it goes on and on and on. We'll do one thing. I'll drag it to. See, look at the rows here. Rows is changing to that extent. 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. Okay. 7,000. I just dragged it to 7,000 cells. N number of times. It happens. Think it happens N number of times. And here also I will extend this. And here also I will extend this. So what is as per expenditure method? As per expenditure method, what is the total expenditure, sir? So my income is 500. So if I see that, totally, you can see that 2,320 is the expenditure. 2,320 is the expenditure. So it has to start from 500, no? This 500 has spent by someone. Okay, think that 400 se start ho gaya hai. 400 is the starting point, 20%. Now see, 1 divided by 0.2. Is equal to 5 is equal to this multiplied by this 400. Answer, you are getting 2,000. We have to get 2,000, no? Answer. Okay. We are entering that 320 also. No. It should be 3,000 from here. I'll delete this. Now see, what is the total? 2000. We are getting 2000 as the total. 400. First expenditure is 400. 400 multiplied by 5. Answer is 2000. Sir, what if I change this to 500? Say if I change it to 2000. What answer I have to get? 2000 multiplied by 2. I have to get answer. Sorry, 1600 hoga. 1600 multiplied by 5. Answer is 8000. So will I get 8000? See, sum here 8000 हुआ ना. Sum is 8000 here. Sum. Expenditure का sum. How I got 8000? 1600 multiplied by 5. What is this 5, sir? Multiplier. It goes on multiplying. My expenditure, your expenditure, I give again. I am explaining again. Everyone, listen to me carefully. From government, I got 2000. Initially, I got 2000 and I saved 20% of 2000. How much is 20% of 2000? 400. 2000 minus 400. It will be 1600. Expenditure is 1600. First expenditure is 1600. I gave it to Mr. B. Mr. B also has, in the economy, marginal propensity to save is 20%. Marginal propensity to save is 20%. Okay. 320 is saved by that guy and he spent 1280. 1280, it is gone to Mr. C's hand. Mr. C got this 1280 and he saved 256. 20% of 1280. 256. He saved that amount and he spent this amount, expenditure. 1280 minus 256, you will get 1024. 1024, he gave it to Mr. D. Mr. D, out of his income 1024, he saved 204 and he spent 819.2. This 819.2, he gave it to Mr. E. Mr. E saved 163 and he spent 655. This goes on forever. Think that multiplier, it goes on multiplying. Ripple effect. See, first jump or first pitch is 1600. Second pitch is 1280. Little small pitch and even small here. So what is happening here? That pitch, you know. So ripple effect, we call this as ripple effect. In case of ripple effect, a big pitch, small 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 pitch. Like this. See, this pitch is the biggest pitch, 1600. Second pitch is 1280. Third pitch is 1024. These are my expenditures. These expenditure put together. If you go on adding all these things in Excel sheet, there is shortcut to this. Shortcut is just you have to click on this column. Total of all these is given here. It is 8000. 1600 became 8000. Change in initial 1600 that led to 8000 income. Of everyone's income it is, correct? No, 1600 is expenditure of Mr. A, but that is the income of Mr. B. No, expenditure method. Once expenditure is others' income. You go on adding this n number of times. If you go on adding this, somewhere 8000 you go on getting. See, here onwards it is negligible item. So that's why the sum is not changing. Even if I go on scrolling down, this sum is not changing because that is negligible amount. Negligible amount. That's why that sum is not changing. So total answer is 8000. Again, change in income. Okay. Here. What is how to calculate the K? Multiplier, sir. How to calculate multiplier? K is equal to delta change in income, delta Y divided by delta Y divided by delta delta I, delta y divided by delta I. So now what is delta I? Initially change in the expenditure. That is investment is expenditure, no? In the initial stage. That is 1600. Correct. Is equal to 1600 delta I. And here it is equal to delta y. How much change has happened? Total it is 8000, no? Total it is 8000. So I'll write 8000. Enter. So 8000 divided by 1600. What is the answer? What is the answer? Is equal to 8000 divided by 1600. Enter. Answer is 5. So finally, the answer is 5. That is multiplier. Correct? No, that is multiplier. Or can I say that how to calculate multiplier is equal to 1 divided by, or I can say that k is equal to 1 divided by 1 divided by what? 1 divided by 1 minus MPC. 1 minus MPC. What is 1 minus MPC, sir? It is MPS. 1 minus MPC is equal to 1 minus MPS, or 1 minus MPC is equal to MPS. 1 divided by 1 divided by MPS. MPS. So what is MPS? How much I used to save here? If you see that it is 20% I used to save. My savings will be 20%. 1 divided by 0.2. 1 divided by 0.2. 1 divided by MPS. So if you do that, what answer we will get is equal to 1 divided by 0.2. Answer is 5. Again, these two are equal. बच्चों है ना? These two are equal. हुआ ना? हुआ कि नहीं? 5 is equal to 5. There are two formulas here. 1 divided by 1 minus MPC, or 1 divided by MPS is equal to delta y divided by delta I. कैसा लगा? कैसा लगा? कैसा लगा? कैसा लगा? इजी ना? है कि नहीं? Mind blowing, sir. Mind घूमिंग, sir. With the help of Excels, no? Excel, I know that. I believe that you already know something about Excel. Excel sheet, how to use Excel sheet, all these things. When you join company, no? When you join company, there you are using Excel to that extent. So you need to know something about Excel. Excel in Trisha classes, they are teaching you Excel, ChatGPT, Power BI, everything. You are lucky, huh? You are in this era. At the same time, you are in that kind of college. Okay. Next. Income, savings, and expenditure. Okay. I stop sharing here and I'll go to the text again. We'll go back to text. Share, 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 share. Yes, so that's why it is given 1 divided by MPS or delta y by delta I. Both are same. From the above, we find that marginal propensity to consume, MPC, is the determinant of the value of the multiplier, and that there exists a direct relationship between MPC and the value of the multiplier. There is direct relationship between MPC and value of multiplier. Can you tell me what happens to the multiplier if MPC is more? If MPC is more, multiplier is dash. Multiplier is more or multiplier is less. The value of the multiplier increases or value of the multiplier decreases. You understood my question? My question is that if MPC increases, multiplier dash increases or decreases? Question: if MPC increases, K increases or my question is K dash. K is dash. K is dash. Increases or decreases? How to calculate K? K is equal to 1 divided by 1 minus MPC. Think, if MPC is equal to 0.40, if MPC is equal to 0.40, then what will be K? K is equal to 1 divided by 1 minus 0.40, that is equal to 1 divided by 0.6. Correct. So it would have been answer. K would have been 1.6666 multiplier 1 divided by 0.6 is equal to 1.66667. That would have been the K. What if MPC increases? MPC increased to 0.50. MPC increased. Then K is equal to 1 divided by 1 minus 0.50 or 1 divided by 0.50. That is equal to 2. What happens? Conclusion. If MPC increases, then K also increases. There is direct relationship between MPC increases, K increases. Sir, MPS increases, then K decreases. Keep this in mind. If MPS increases, K decreases. If MPC increases, K increases. There is the relation between MPC and MPS and K. So higher MPC, more will be the value of multiplier and vice versa. On the contrary, higher the MPS, lower will be the value of multiplier and vice versa. We just discussed about this. The maximum value of multiplier is infinity when the value of MPC is 1. If MPC is equal to 1, then क्या होगा? 1 divided by 1 minus MPC. If MPC is 1, then 1 divided by 0. Anything divided by 0 is not defined. You cannot define that. That means infinity. The economy decides to consume the whole of its additional income. Can we do this here? I'll stop sharing here and I'll share the Excel sheet. Share. Listen. MPC is 1. That means savings will be 0. Correct? Savings will be 0. Enter. Kya hua? Savings is 0. Everywhere, what I am going to do now? Here also, I have to change it. MPS is 0. If MPC is 1, savings will be 0. No? Everywhere, I am going to change this now. Kya hoga? Expenditure will be infinity. So if it goes on happening, see 2000, 2000, 2000, how much ever you add, no, it goes on adding. So it will not be constant. Right now it is 13,97,000. No, 1,39,72,000 it is. If you go on adding, it goes on adding. So it is infinity. जा रहा है दिमाग में? Yes, sir. There is no end. There is no end here. So it goes on adding. If MPC equals to 1, no, it is infinity. The economy decides to consume the whole of its additional income. We conclude that the value of multiplier is reciprocal of MPS. Correct, no? MPS, 1 divided by MPS, that is K. Yes, very good. The multiplier concept is central to Keynes' theory because it explains how shift in the investment caused by the change in the business expectations set off a process that causes not only investment but also the consumptions to vary. The multiplier shows how shocks to one sector are transmitted throughout the economy. Shock to one sector that will get transmitted to throughout the economy, to everywhere it will get transmitted. Increase in the income due to increase in initial investment does not go on endlessly. There is some end. How there is end? Because there is MPS. If there is MPS, there is end. Otherwise, there is no end. If there is MPC is equal to 1, then there is no end. The process of income propagation slows down and ultimately comes to a halt. Causes responsible for the decline in the income are called leakages. Can I say that if you save more, that is a leakage because it will not lead to multiplication. It will not get multiplied. So that's why more the leakage, less will be the multiplier. If MPS increases, this is what we discussed. No. If MPS increases, multiplier decreases. If MPS decreases, multiplier increases. Okay. Income that is not spent, that means savings, on currently produced consumption, goods and services may be regarded as having leaked. Nothing but savings. Savings is a kind of leakage out of the income stream. So this is about one kind of leakage. So here, if the increased income goes out of the cycle of the consumption expenditure, there is a leakage. From the income stream, which reduces the effect of multiplier, the more powerful these leakages are, the smaller value of the multiplier. If the leakages is more, then the multiplier value will be less. Correct? The leakages are caused due to, what are the reasons for leakage? Number one, progressive rate of taxation. You have to pay more and more of tax to the government so that it is a leakage, no? If that tax was not paid, then you would have used it for consumption. You would have used it for consumption. The taxation which results in no appreciable increase in the consumption despite increase in income. Your income increases, still tax will be more, no? You have to pay everything as tax. Number one. Number two, high liquidity preference and idle savings or holding of the cash balances and an equivalent fall in marginal propensity to consume. Sometimes we wish to hold more cash balances and we will not consume. We wish to hold more cash balances. We will have high liquidity preference. We wish to hold more cash balances so that it will reduce our consumption capacity. Number three, increased demand for consumer goods being met out of existing stock or through the imports. So we have already imported goods. There is demand, we will import and spend. If we import, what happens? Employment reduces. If we are importing, employment reduces, no? If employment reduces, then that is one disadvantage, no? There is no income to the people. Again, consumption reduces. Additional income spent on purchasing existing wealth or purchases of the government securities and shares from the shareholders or bondholders. See, what share will fetch us? Nothing. Still we purchase shares. If we purchase shares, nothing. There is no increase in Value is parked in one share. So there is no increase in the income. There is no increase in the income. Undistributed profits. If the profits get distributed, that means if I get more dividend, I have invested in a share. Okay. I did invest in a company's share. If, listen, I have invested in one share, their EPS, earning per share is 100, but they paid me only 20 rupees as the dividend. Other 80 rupees is not given. Other 80 rupees is not distributed. This is undistributed profit. If I got that 80 rupees, then I will spend. If I get that 80 rupees, then I will spend. If I'm not getting this 80 rupees, I cannot spend. No. If I am not spending, then there is no income. The income is stuck somewhere. Part of increment in income used for payment of the debts. Earlier, I had done some debt. I have to pay off that debt now. Earlier, I had some debt. I have done some debt. I have to pay off that debts now. So if I'm paying the debts, then I don't have money to spend now. If I don't spend now, marginal propensity to consume reduces. If that reduces, multiplier also reduces. No. Case of full employment, additional investment will only lead to inflation. There is already full employment, sir. There is full employment. Still the income increases, that lead to inflation. Full employment, additional investment. If you add extra investment, that increases the consumption. If that increases the consumption, that lead to inflation. And lastly, scarcity of goods and services despite having high MPC. Marginal propensity to consume is more, sir, but still scarcity of the goods, that leads to inflation again. So the MPC on which multiplier effect of increase in income depends is high in underdeveloped countries. Correct? No. Usually the MPC is high in underdeveloped country. But ironically, the value of multiplier is very low. Why it is not getting multiplied? Because there is scarcity of goods. Due to structural inadequacy, there is no infrastructure. Increase in consumption expenditure is not generally accompanied by increase in production. There is no production. See, underdeveloped country mein, MPC, they only consume, they don't save at all because they don't have income to save. If they get enough of income, then they will save. No. Here they are not getting any income. Then what to save? They cannot save. If they cannot save, MPC will be highest. Then multiplier should be highest, no? But multiplier is not high. See, if MPC is more, if MPC increases, multiplier should increase. But here multiplier is not increasing at all. Why? If someone asks the question, why multiplier is not increasing? Because underdeveloped country, there is no increase in production. Example, increased demand for industrial goods consequent to increased income does not lead to increase in their real output. Rather, prices tend to raise. Rather, the prices will tend to raise. That's all. There is more consumption, there is more demand, but there is no production. Instead, inflation increases, multiplier will not increase. An important element of Keynesian model is that they relate to the short period equilibrium and contain no dynamic elements. There is nothing like Keynesian macroeconomic dynamics. When a shock occurs, for example, when there is a change in autonomous investment due to change in some variables, one equilibrium position can be compared with another as a matter of comparative statistics. There is no link between one period and the next, and no provision is made for the analysis of the processes through the time. So basically, it says that the limitations, model ka limitation says that the equilibrium condition which was there in 1 year, next year it is not required that it should be the same condition. Not required to be same condition. It can be some different condition. There is no link between one period to another period. And next, and no provision is made for the analysis of processes through the time. Throughout the time, we cannot make a link here. Not possible. 1 year we got one picture. Next year we might get a different, altogether different picture. So this is one limitation. Numerical illustrations. If you see the illustration number 9, in an economy, investment expenditure is increased by rupees 400 crores and marginal propensity to consume is 0.8. MPC is equal to 0.8. And what is given here? I is equal to, see, an economy investment expenditure increased by, that means delta I is equal to 400 crore. Okay, sir. Calculate the total increase in income and savings. You have to calculate the increase in income. How to calculate, sir? Very easy. MPC is given. Then what is MPS? That is 0.2. MPS is 0.2. Then what is K? K is equal to 1 divided by 0.2. That is equal to 5. K is 5. No. K is 5. 5 multiplied by, see, delta Y divided by delta I is equal to K. We already have K is equal to 5. 5 is equal to delta Y divided by delta I have 400 crores. 400. Now what to do, sir? Simple. Multiply this with 400. Delta Y is equal to 2000 crores. Ashte. Vishyaste. So what is this? Change in income. Calculate the total increase in income. I got total increase in income. Out of 2000 increase in income, 2000 increase in income, what is marginal propensity to consume? Multiplied by 0.8. Correct? No, MPC is 0.8. No. Marginal, that means my increase in expenditure will be 80% of this. That is 1600. That means 400 should be 0.2, which is save. This is savings. Savings will be 400. Correct. Delta S should be 400. Array, it has to be 400. Why? Because delta I is 400. No. Equilibrium position mein delta I is equal to delta S. Ashte Vishya. Delta I is equal to delta S. That means it is 400. Change in savings is also 400. Change in income is 2000. This is just the game here. Playing with the numbers. Illustration number 10. Next illustration. An increase in investment by 400 crores. Investment increased by 400 crores leads to increase in national income by 1600 crores. Calculate marginal propensity to consume. Very easy one. How to calculate, sir? Here. Change increase in investment, that is delta I is equal to 400. Delta Y is equal to 1600. Given here, increase in national income by 1600 crores. So how to calculate K? K is equal to 1600 divided by 400. So it is 4 times. K is equal to 4 times. Now what is asked? Calculate marginal propensity to consume. MPC is asked, no? K is equal to 1 divided by MPS. Correct. Now I have 4 is equal to 1 divided by MPS. That means MPS is equal to 1 divided by 4. Answer is 0.25. If MPS is 0.25, then what is MPC? 0.75. Ashte. Yes. This is illustration number 10. Illustration number 11 and illustration number 12. It is same which is given in your book. Please do take a screenshot, try it yourself. Later compare that with the answer which is given in the book. We'll take 2 minutes break. Just 2 minutes. I'll be back. 2 minutes break and we will start with 3-sector model. Okay, just 2 minutes. I'll be back. Yes. Now, we will go to the next. Before we go to the next one, wait. I'll just see that whether if there is any doubts or comments here. Nothing. Okay, fine. Yes, the next one, determination of equilibrium income. Three sector model, sir. Sir, two sector model ही हुआ है, sir. We have to do three sector model now. Don't worry. Two sector model was the biggest one. Three sector model is simplest one if you have understood two sector. Three sector is one sector extra. You are adding one sector extra here. If you understand that sector, no, done. One sector extra here. People directly go to this diagram. We will directly go to this diagram and see that which is that one sector extra, that is government. Business was already there. Household was already there. There is one sector extra, which is government sector. What is the relation between household and business? Household business that we know. Business and government, household and government. What is the relation, sir? Very simple. See, household, they pay income tax. Did we discuss about this? Yes, household will pay income tax. Business also pays the income tax. So they will pay the taxes. And government, what government will do? Government will give the subsidies to the business and government makes the transfer payment to the household. What is transfer payments? Freebies. Correct? No. Freebies. So we are done with all the blue ticks. Blue marks, we are done with the blue marks. This we know. See, business will get the subsidy from the government, but business has to pay the taxes to the government. Household will get transfer payment to the government and household has to pay taxes, income tax, personal income tax to the government. Government will also, now, wait. Before going to that, business, what business will do? Business, they give the goods, produce goods and services and they will give it to the product market. Business, they produce the goods and they give it to the market. They sell it to the market. From market, goods and services are purchased by the households. This arrow is also done. Once they purchase, what this household do? They will pay to the product market. In the product market, from product market, that expenditure goes to the business. So they gave the goods for which they got the money. Ashte, these two arrows are also done. Correct? No. Now, business, no, they will do some investment. For example, they have to purchase machinery. From where they will purchase machinery? From the market. No. See, investment expenditure. So they will purchase some goods for which they will do some expenditure. Investment ke liye they have to do some expenditure. That means they have to purchase from the market. That machinery they have to purchase from the market. No. Now tell me, government also has some companies or government. In government offices, they purchase some mobile phones, they purchase some investment, they will also purchase some of the products. No, from where they will purchase the products? Stationary items, they have to purchase it. From where they will purchase it? They will purchase it from the product market. They also purchase it from the product market. All the arrows are done. Correct? No. Simple sa. Looks like very big thing, sir. ಏನು ಒಂದು ದೊಡ್ಡದೊಂದು ಸರ್ಕ್ಯೂಟ್ ಅನ್ನು ಬಿಡಿಸಿದಾಗ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. It looks like circuit, but it is not circuit. It is circuit. Circuit. मुन्ना भाई का circuit है ये. Very simple to understand. Huh? Next one. One more is financial market. Nothing but banks. Banks. So what happens? Banks are, see, banks, from bank, business will take some loans for making investment. From banks, business will take some loan for making the investment. Households, what they do? They will save some amount, no? Where they park their money? In the bank. Government also wants some money in the form of loan. So that is called as government borrowings. Hua. Banks will give money to the business, they give money to the government, and they take money from the household. Ashte, Vishya. And there is something called as factor market. Here, listen. Household, they spend money, no? That means they have to receive money. From where they will receive money? From business. They will receive the money from business. How they receive the money? Because they give factors of production. They'll give the service, factors of production, for which they receive the factor payment. Ashte, bachcho, only that is the point extra in case of three-sector model. In three-sector model, there is business, government, and household. One extra sector is government. Government is the extra sector. So what has happened here? We will start with first government, the link between. Now I will use a different color. You just have to go in this order. You just have to go in this order. First, let us define the relation between government and household. So what is the relation between government and household? Government will take taxes from the household and government will give the transfer payment, freebies to the household. Huana. And what is the relation between government and business? Government will give subsidies to the business. Business will also pay the tax to the government. So we are done with business, government, household, government relation. Once this is done, okay. Business produces the goods and they will give it to the product market. They'll give it to the product market. From that market, goods and services are purchased by the household. It is purchased by household. For purchasing, what they do? They will make the payment, nothing but in the form of their expenditure. They paid in the form of expenditure. That amount go to product market. From product market, it will get diverted to the business. And business will also purchase some investments. For example, furniture, fittings, machineries, electrical items, stationery, all these things. Business will purchase, no? Yes, they will purchase it from the market. That is investment expenditure. Investment expenditure. Government, to run their office, they need some stationery. They also in the requirement of the stationery, some or other products they want. There are some government companies also, they also purchase some items from the market. This is called as government purchases or government expenditure. So all the points here is done. Done, no? Yes. Now there is something called as banks, financial markets. Financial market, they will give money to two markets, special two sectors. One is government, that is government borrowings case is say, and this is business. They will give the investment. Business also borrows. Business also borrows from the financial market. And finally, households, they will save their money and they will keep that, park that money in the savings bank of the financial market. Now, we discussed that household will do the consumption expenditure. We discussed that household will do the consumption expenditure. To do the expenditure, sir, they have to receive some money, no? Yes. How they receive money? By working. Their factors of production, they will distribute or they will sell their factors of production, their capacity to the business. So here, household, they give the factor services to the factor market. From factor market, business will purchase the service. Business will purchase the services from the factor market. For this, business starts paying some amount in the form of factor payment. This factor payment goes to the household as income. This goes to household as income. Ashte. That's all the difference. That's all the difference. Hannah? Very easy one. Looks like such a big diagram, sir. It's a big diagram, sir. But no, Remember, it is very easy one. So if you read this, aggregate demand in three-sector model of closed economy. What is closed economy? Which is not open to the foreign trade, which is not neglecting foreign trade. Consists of three components, namely household, consumption, desired business investment I, and government sector demand, that is G. So earlier, if you remember, aggregate demand was equal to C plus I. Now it is aggregate demand is equal to C plus I plus G. In equilibrium, what happens in equilibrium? We will discuss soon. Okay. C plus I plus G. Income is equal to aggregate supply is equal to aggregate demand in equilibrium. In equilibrium, aggregate supply is equal to aggregate demand. No. What is aggregate demand? C plus I plus G. Aggregate supply is also called as income. Why? That is equal to C plus I plus G. C plus I plus G, sir. Okay. Ah, sir. G, sir. Since there is no foreign sector, so we are not considering foreign sector, we are ignoring foreign sector. Since there is no foreign sector, GDP and national income are equal. Gross domestic product and national income. GDP and GNP, gross domestic product and gross national product, are same. Why? Because there is no foreign sector here. As prices are assumed to be fixed, all variables are real variables and all changes are in real terms. To help interpret these conditions, we turn to the flow chart below, which we have already discussed in the above chart. Each of the variables in the model is flow variables, not flow variables. The three-sector, three-market circular flow model, which accounts for government intervention. So what is the change here? Government intervention. Government is taking part. Government intervention highlights the role played by the government sector. From the above flow chart, we can find that the government sector adds the following key flows to the model. So what are the key flows that you have seen in the diagram? First one, taxes on the household and business also. Household is paying taxes, business is also paying taxes. First one. Second one, transfer payments. Transfer payments to household, whereas subsidy payments to the business. Correct? No. Income of the government and outgoing of the government. This is income of the government. This is expense of the government. Next one, government purchases goods and services from the business sector. Correct? No. Above arrow, upward arrow that we discussed. And factors of production, that is downward arrow. Factors of production from the household sector and government borrowing in financial markets. Government also borrows from the financial market. These are the four important points. Remember, government takes money in the form of taxes from household as well as business. Government gives money in the form of transfer payment and subsidies to household and business respectively. Government purchases the goods. Government takes the loan. Borrowings. Government do the borrowings. These are the four important interventions of the government. However, unlike in two-sector model, the whole of national income does not return directly to the firms as demand for output. Earlier, in two-sector model, only household and firms were there. Whatever the income of the household, that goes to firm. Whatever the income of the firm, that goes to household. But here, this will not happen. Whatever the income of the household will save some amount in the bank and they will give some tax to the government. There is one more, which is government. Firms also, they do some investment and they give some amount to the government in the form of tax. Like this. There are two flow outs of the household sector in addition to the consumption expenditure, namely savings. Correct? No. Savings flow and tax payments. Both we discussed now. Household will give some savings and it will give some tax. Two flows and two flows to the Business also, government, there are these are actually leakages. The saving leakages flows into the financial market, which means that the part of the that is saved is held in the form of some financial assets. The tax flow goes to the government sector. Leakage which occurs in household sector do not necessarily mean that the total demand must fall short of the output. Not required. It is not nothing but it doesn't mean that it is output will be short. There are additional demand for the output on the part of the business sector itself for investment and from the government sector in terms of the circular flow. See, because of payment of the tax, because of the payment of the tax, households, their demand has reduced. Yes, but tax will go to government. Government increase their demand now because government is getting some income now. They will increase their demand. Output is not required that total output will reduce. Not required. The total output will reduce. Total output will be same because household, they will reduce their demand because they are paying tax. Tax is disposable income. If tax increases, remember CPT, T taxes. If disposable income increases, demand reduces. Correct. Household demand reduces, sir. Tax gone to government, government will increase their demand. No. That's why there is no much change here. The investment injection is shown as flow from financial market to the business sector. The purchasers of the investment goods, typically financed by borrowings, are actually the firms in the business sector themselves. Thus, the amount of investment in terms of money represents an equivalent flow of funds lent to the business. Flow of funds lent to the business sector. Correct? Yes, sir. Okay. The three-sector Keynesian model is commonly constructed assuming that the government purchases are autonomous. This is not a realistic assumption, but it will simplify our analysis. Remember, here, C plus I plus G. We already know that I is autonomous. Correct? We discussed in two-sector model. Here, consider G also autonomous. Government expenditure. What is the income of the country? Consumption, savings, plus tax is also income, no? Not a constant it is. All these are not constant. I'm so sorry. We already discussed that aggregate supply is C plus S. That is aggregate supply, income. This time, one extra, that is T. Tax is also extra income of the government's income is nothing but nation's income, no? So that's why we are including tax as well. So remember, G is also autonomous here. Determining of the income can also be explained with the help of aggregate demand and aggregate supply. Only one thing is the change, but G is autonomous. T is not autonomous. T can be autonomous. S can be autonomous. T also can be autonomous or it is a function. Remember that if our income increases, remember that if our income increases, tax also increases. In India, tax is progressive taxation. In India, it is progressive taxation. If your income increases, tax also increases. It is progressive taxation. Okay? It is progressive taxation. If income increases, tax also increases. Okay, sir. Understood. That means tax can be autonomous. Tax can be autonomous or it can be a function. It is a function of income. That can also happen here. Okay, sir. Understood. So these 2 points, no, you have to remember. These 2 points you have to remember. एक second. Okay. Yes. So AD is equal to C plus I plus G, where I and G are autonomous, and AS is equal to C plus S plus T, where T can be autonomous or S can be autonomous. But usually they are not autonomous. That is the function. It is a function. If you see here, sir, I'll give you 2 minutes. Understand this. First, understand this. I'll get my water bottle. Okay. I'll get my water bottle. First, understand. Try to understand. I'll be back. क्या हुआ? So in this, remember we discussed that G is autonomous, I is also autonomous. So that's why, very simple point, very simple point. C we already know. It is A. This is A and this is BY. A plus BY. A plus BY is C. And I is autonomous, no? That's why we are adding C plus I. Autonomous is nothing but constant. I is constant. That's why the difference between these is always constant. And this one, now new extra 1 point is added, that is G. G is also autonomous, which is constant. That is also added here. So this line, no, this line is what? This is aggregate demand, where that is equal to C plus I plus G. This is Y. C plus S plus T. C plus I plus G and C plus S plus T are stay people. There is nothing difference here. Because of increase in G, government expenditure. See, if there was no government expenditure, listen, very important one. If there was no government expenditure, then this would have been the equilibrium. Why? Because government expenditure is not there. This would have been the equilibrium. But right now, equilibrium is this one. Sir, if there was no investment, then this was the equilibrium. Because of investment multiplier, this is the increase in equilibrium. Because of government expenditure, this is the equilibrium now. If there was no investment and government expenditure, this would have been the equilibrium. Because of investment, this is the equilibrium now. Because of government expenditure, this one will be the equilibrium. So equilibrium got shifted. Okay. Same way, it is panel B. In panel B, they have taken only I plus G, putting together I plus G. Both are in constant now. This is constant. And what is this? This is savings. Savings plus tax. So which is equilibrium here? This point is equilibrium. Where, see, listen, in two sector model, aggregate demand is equal to C plus I, aggregate supply is equal to C plus S, correct? No? So that equilibrium, aggregate demand is equal to aggregate supply. Aggregate demand is C plus I, aggregate supply is C plus S. C got cancelled. So I is equal to S is the case. I is equal to S is the case. This is in two sector model. What happens in three sector model? Aggregate demand is equal to C plus I plus G, and aggregate supply is equal to C plus S plus T. C gets cancelled. So I plus G is equal to S plus T. Correct? No. Here, S plus T is equal to I plus G. This is the equilibrium point. Ashte. That only this is the change. But only this is the change. There is nothing else. So here, okay. Number of participants, no? Very less in this. Number of participants, number of people are very less here. I understand that you are hungry. You feel that hungry. But the problem is there is no hunger for knowledge. That is the problem. The students ke liye, there is no hunger for knowledge. They want to enjoy uh, the holidays. They want to enjoy the success. They want to enjoy the result, but they are not ready to sacrifice. I don't know what is the issue in the student sector. I'm not telling this to everyone. Deepak is here, and there are some students here. Deepak is active. I'm damn sure that Deepak is going to clear this exam. Okay. Anyways, so I don't know what is the reason. What is the reason behind this? You don't have hunger for knowledge. Others, I'm telling to others, there is no hunger for knowledge. Something is given free, no? So I don't attend it. I will watch it whenever I want it. Okay, you watch it whenever you want. You watch this class whenever you want. There is no, I don't bother. But you could have saved the time, no? 10 minutes extra. If you spend 10 minutes extra, that 10-minute extra, you can spend it on something else. Correct. So the earlier you learn something, earlier you clear. So those who are watching the recorded or video, I'm telling you, this was live. To whom, why this is given live? If this was recorded, then I would have recorded in a studio and I have given some good quality videos to you. Good quality videos. In Trisha classes, Trisha, they have one Puneet Rajkumar studio. How good it is. And there are well educated technicians are there. They would have given you high quality videos. Why I should record it in my house? I value your time. I value your time so that you have to learn how to value your own time. You don't value, you want enjoyment, sir. This is Sunday. I want to sleep, sir. I want to eat, sir. No. The success lies in sacrifice. First, you should be knowing how to sacrifice. Chartered accountant students, he sacrifices a lot. Remember this. This is my warning as well to you. You should be knowing how to sacrifice. If you don't know what is the meaning of sacrifice, then you have to sacrifice your success. Mark my word, you have to sacrifice your success. Yes. Here the variables, I still have, no matter how many participants are there, even there is no participants, I will do this class because I have some passion. The variables. Uh, the variables measured on the vertical axis are C, I, and G. The variables measured on vertical axis. Which is vertical axis? This one, y-axis. Y-axis is vertical axis. Okay. The autonomous expenditure components, namely investment and government spending, do not directly depend on the income and are exogenous variables determined by the factors outside the model. Outside the model, that means exogenous variables such as government and investment. So these are exogenously determined. That means it is predetermined. It is predetermined. You may observe that in panel B of the above figure, the lines that plot these autonomous expenditure components are horizontal as their level does not depend on Y. What is Y? Income. They are horizontal. Horizontal means this one. Horizontal. They don't depend on Y. Whatever your income is, that is fixed. So this I and G is fixed here. So whatever might be your income, that is fixed. Therefore, C plus I plus G schedule lies above the consumption function by a constant amount. So there is one constant amount it always lies, not always. Usually it lies above the consumption function. So the line S plus T in the graph plots the value of savings plus taxes. What is savings plus taxes? It is leakage, correct? What is the spelling of leakage? Leakage. So it is leakages. Savings and taxes are leakages, and this schedule slopes upwards. Which one? S plus T is upward sloping. Why, sir? Because if your income increases, tax also increases. Savings also increases. Tax increases, savings also increases. This schedule slopes upward because savings varies positively with income, just as government spending. Level of tax receipts T is decided by the policymakers. It can be fixed or it can be variable. It depends. Okay, Disha, thank you so much. She did correct me. Correct, no. My spelling is correct. Leakage spelling is correct. The equilibrium level of income is shown as at the point E, where C plus I plus G schedule crosses the 45-degree line. You know that what is 45-degree line? What is 45-degree line? It is income line. What is income line? C plus S plus T. It is income line. Nothing but 45-degree line. See, C plus S plus T. This is 45-degree line. And aggregate demand is therefore equal to the income. In equilibrium, it is also true that the S plus T schedule intersects the I plus G horizontal schedule. Correct? No, in panel B, if you see panel B, S plus T and I plus G. Chalo. Now, just vouch it. Which is the equilibrium point here? This one is the equilibrium point or new equilibrium point because of increase in tax. Government expenditure, not tax, government expenditure. New equilibrium point is this one. This is new equilibrium point. At this equilibrium point, if you go down, see, if you go to panel B, this one, this is the equilibrium, no, where I plus G is equal to S plus T. I plus G is equal to S plus T. That is given here. It is true that S plus T intersects with I plus G horizontal schedule. We shall now see why other points on the graph are not points of equilibrium. Why other points are not the points of equilibrium, sir? If you ask me, consider a level of income below Y. We find that it generates consumption as shown along the consumption function below Y. Where is Y here? This one is Y. Actually, it should have been Y1. We find that it generates consumption as shown along. along the consumption function, when this level of consumption is added to the autonomous consumption I plus G, the aggregate demand exceeds income. See, if you go to Y level, what is the aggregate demand? This is this one, no? This is demand line. C plus I plus G. This is demand line, no? C plus I plus G, which is above the C plus, above at this Y level. So this is the equilibrium point. It should have been the equilibrium point, no? This should have been the equilibrium point. Correct. But that is not happening, no? So that is not happening. Income line should have been something like this. If this was equilibrium, aggregate demand is more than aggregate supply. So that is not equilibrium point. This is not equilibrium point because of that reason. See, at Y, we find that when this level, the consumption is added to the autonomous expenditure, aggregate demand is exceeds the aggregate income. So the C plus I plus G, what is this? Demand is above 45-degree line. Correct? No. At Y point, if you see this at the point Y, at Y, which is less than equilibrium. This is equilibrium income. This is not equilibrium income. At this point, demand is greater. C plus I plus G is greater than C plus S plus T. C plus I plus G, if I draw one line here, this is greater, this is less. That's why it is not equilibrium. Equivalently, at the point I plus G is greater than S plus T. Correct? No. Here, if I draw the line here, what has happened? This is the point. So this is the point where I plus G is greater than S plus T. I plus G is greater than S plus T. Correct. So this is the, it has to intersect, no? But at Y it is not intersecting, see? But at Y1 it is intersecting. At Y mein it is not intersecting, which is more, this line is greater than this line. That's why I plus G is greater than S plus T. I plus G is greater than S plus T, as can be seen in panel B of the above figure, with the demand outstripping the production. Demand is more than production here. So desired investment will exceed actual investment, and there will be an unintended inventory shortfall, and therefore a tendency for the output to raise. So there is unintended fall. So there is unintended fall in the inventory. Demand is more, inventory is less. So that will lead to increase in the output. Conversely, so this is exact ulta of that paragraph. So the paragraph which is there above, no? So that is exact ulta of this paragraph. So do one thing, take a screenshot and read it and keep. We will discuss about this in the evening class. Evening 5:30 ke liye we will start this class again, and we are going to continue there about this paragraph, and we will finish up this unit. Lastly, there are some points here. Very easy one. It looks like difficult, Baba. Don't worry. This is not difficult. This is actually easy one. And lastly, we have to discuss about 4-sector model. Done with this. Somewhere 1, 2, 3, 4 pages are there. 4 to 5 pages. So once we finish 5 pages, we are done with this chapter. Chapter number 6. So today we are going to finish chapter number 6. And evening class mein, we are going to start with the new chapter, that is, we will start with international trade. First, we will do international trade. Later, we will go to 7th and 8th chapter. I'll tell you why. Okay. So thank you so much for your patient listening. You have any doubts? Oh, number of participants has increased. Is it? Okay. That is the power of a scolding. Not scolding. And ಬೈದಿದ್ದಲ್ಲ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಒಂದ್ಸರ್ತಿ ಗದರಿಸಿದ್ದಷ್ಟೇ. Required. If I keep going, you all are my students. ನೀವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ ನನ್ನ students. In that case, I have the right. to tell on all these things to you. Otherwise, you go off the track. I don't want that to happen. Okay. Everyone, thank you so much. We will meet in evening class sharply by 5:30. 5:30 to 8:30 you have class. Don't miss. Please do attend because something interesting that we are going to study here. Thank you so much. Bye.